On January 25th, 2015, the fans wanted one thing. Vince McMahon, however, wanted another thing. God damn it, you will appreciate what I want. And of course, the fans were absolutely going to be 100% receptive to whatever Vince McMahon wanted in, checks notes, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Ooh, boy. I'm John Renton with the Retro Review of WWE Royal Rumble 2015. Regarded as one of the worst received Rumble events of all time. You thought the 2014 event was badly received. Holy fucking shit, but baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. Ha ha, it's such good shit, pal. They're gonna cheer Roman Reigns. They cheered him the year before. They will cheer him. I'm Vince McMahon, damn it. You know that's what Vince McMahon was shouting as he sent Kane and Big Show out to dominate the latter half of the Royal Rumble in 2015. That's exactly what everybody wanted to fucking see. Big Show, who by that point was just a shell of what he was, and Corporate Kane. Kane out there in fucking slacks, dominating younger people, beating them up and everything, and holy fucking shit, Philly was not very happy with this show. They absolutely did a 180 on this goddamn Rumble. Now, granted, the undercard, besides the three-way match, wasn't all that great, but they could have saved it with a pretty damn good Royal Rumble. They had some surprises. They had Daniel Bryan coming back. They had all the recipes, all the ingredients to make this recipe just all goddamn great. Or all the recipes to make these ingredients work. However you want to say it. It's all topsy-turvy, upside down, all around. Come on, defense, work. Boy, this was not a good show. And reliving it, I remember vividly just how angry the crowd was, but man, my memory just must not be what it used to be. Old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be. Because this crowd was even angrier than I remember. So they were in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the home of EC-Dub, 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 and we got some ECW chants and an ECW original appearing on the show. They're in the Wells Fargo Center. 17,164 fans, Cole, Lawler, and JBL on commentary. And the future Brandy Rhodes as a ring announcer. That's the closest she should get to ever being in a wrestling ring, if we're being perfectly honest. She's fine doing ring announcing. She is not any good as a wrestler. So by the way, the dark match was Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. Wee-oo, 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 wee-oo. Man, I miss doing that. With Natty and Adam Rose. Why was Adam Rose there with them? I don't actually remember. I'm trying to remember about Tyson Kidd and Cesaro as a team. I mean, they were a great team, but I'm trying to remember initially why Adam Rose was there. Because they were trying to find anything for Adam Rose to do at that point. They took on the New Day when the New Day were heels, and then the New Day eventually became full-fledged babyfaces because, oh yeah, they let the fans decide that. It's a wonder that Vince McMahon maybe doesn't pay attention to that philosophy more often. Xavier Woods was outside. And actually, this wasn't a dark match. It was a pre-show match, by the way. This was 11 minutes. It was twice as long as the opening match. The Middle-Age Outlaws took on the Ascension. For who? For what? For why? The Ascension won. Remember when the Ascension were dominant NXT Tag Team Champions and they got brought up? And they showed recaps of them getting beat up by members of the NWO. Nash did not tear his quad, shockingly. The APA and, these two guys from DX, they thought that this was a great idea because they'd been picking on the teams. They'd been called Road Warrior knockoffs and all that. They got beat up, and then they beat the Middle-Age Outlaws, who were tag team champions at this time, a year ago. Let me say that again. The Middle-Age Outlaw, Billy Gunn, nothing against Billy Gunn, plenty against Road Dogs. He's a fucking idiot that deserves every bad thing that happens in his life from now on. Even though I'm glad he's clean, he's a fucking goddamn piece of shit and a racist son of a bitch. But as far as wrestlers, let's be perfectly honest, they had no business being tag team champions. They had no business being in the goddamn ring. Billy Gunn now teaming up with his sons in AEW, that's fine. But the Ascension were a novelty act in NXT. And they weren't going to be well received on the main roster because they got over by smashing teams over. Or smashing teams, smashing, stacking, and then getting head at the table. Wait, that's Roman Reigns a number of years from now. This went 5.5 minutes, and yeah, the fall of man, rather. Excuse me, by the way, allergies are a goddamn bitch. Fall of Man 1, 2, 3. That's it. The Ascension won in 5.5 minutes. So the Ascension went absolutely nowhere after this. In fact, they were teaming up with Stardust, I think about 8 months after this. Good job. Maybe it was a little bit longer than that, but still. Recaps of Sting showing up to distract the Authority on Raw so Cena could beat Seth Rollins and get his retain his championship opportunity. They were even saying it back then. And Triple H and Stephanie argue about staying, and the way that may have worked in WCW. We get it. You guys have a hate boner for the fact that WCW kicked your ass for 83 weeks straight and then was also very competitive until the latter part of 98, and then early 99, when Mick Foley put butts in seats and Hogan fingered Nash violently. Nash did not tear his quad, and that was it. The ratings just cascaded down because Hogan was a fucking idiot. And also, let's be perfectly honest, if Nash was part of that, whoever was part of putting that shit together, they deserve every bit of ridicule for what was, what was to come. So anyway, Heyman has a solution. He has the final one to take care of, everybody's problems. Bork Laser, take care of Bork. Bork, you take care of problems. Bork F5, Bork throw people, and Bork solution. Bork solution just sounds like some kind of like knockoff thing from an Asylum movie. But yeah, he says, how about Brock takes care of Sting? This went absolutely nowhere, by the way, because Brock versus Sting at that point, one F5 and Sting probably would have been in retirement permanently. Even as safe as Brock can be. Remember when the Usos did the weird war dance, tribal intro thing, whatever that was? I mean, I know it was a tribute to their ancestors, but God, it was just really weird looking back on it now. So anyway, Mizdow. Remember Mizdow? Well, Miz and Mizdow took on the Usos for the Tag Team Championships, and the crowd loved Mizdow's antics and impressions, and Miz was not happy with him, and the match was fine. We got a splash 1, 2, 3. You don't care about these matches. You care about me ripping apart the Rumble, so let's get to it. But first, back to the panel with Renee, Booker, Graves, and Byron. Recaps of the pre-show match. And Mercury was fingering a touchscreen and everything because it was WWE Immortals. Remember when they were advertising that fucking thing? Mortal Kombat and WWE Superstars, Human Centipede together. It was lovely. So, Noble wonders if you can get it on a phone. You can get it on a phone. You can get it on a bone. You can get it on a plane. You can get it on a train. That's how that rhyme works. Anyway, Rollins tells him to focus. I'm not the future. I'm the right meow. Meow, 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 meow. It's the Meowcatect. That would have actually been funny if it was Seth Rollins as a cat trying to cash in. And then we get Paige and Natty, an unusual team, facing the Bellas. Oh boy. I mean, I love Natty, and Paige at this point still had her neck, not in slinky form. But the Bellas. Why were the Bellas given so much TV time, at least in the ring? They weren't any good. People say Nikki improved. She couldn't have gotten any worse. Brie nearly dropped Natty on her goddamn head because Brie was a clueless twat that never belonged in the ring. So let's get done. Let's, get away from, knocking the Bellas here, because I can already hear the Bella fans encircling for no goddamn reason, assuming that any diehards of the Bellas are watching this channel. You probably shouldn't, because I don't really care for them. And even though I don't wish anything bad to happen to them, they were never any fucking good. Natty got pinned by Nikki. This is a bad match all around. And that's despite the fact that Natty's pretty talented, and Paige at this point, hadn't made a whole bunch of goddamn stupid errors and exposed her whole goddamn ass as far as physically, mentally, and emotionally being a goddamn bitch and a goddamn idiot that likes to pick bad guys to date and then blame others for her problems. Initially, whether as far as the Del Rio situation, then it's just been cascading further down. Let's move on. Reigns, Brite, plus others, Stardust and Goldust, and Rusev will crush everyone. Rusev Ujda, Rusev Machka. I said that in English. So, Cena enters the booze. Wap-ba-doo, ba-ba-ba. And then Rollins comes out to cheers. Bork comes out to cheers as well. Rollins versus Cena versus the Bork Laser for a three-way title for the WWE Championship match. That's how English works. Three-way WWE Championship match. This, the lone highlight as far as match quality. Fucking terrific. Rollins and Cena trying equally to take down the Bork Laser while Bork just says, Bork throw everybody. Just threw everybody. Literally threw everybody. He threw cotton candy vendors for no goddamn reason. But he threw Mercury and Noble because they were J&J security. I'm just glad that one of them did not have the first initial B, because if they had done that, it would have just been too goddamn funny, because that would have really, really blown, if you'll see what I did there. But yeah, he's just suplexing Cena, suplexing Rollins, and they eventually had to team up and take down Bork with a bunch of moves, and then they put him through the announcer's table. Well, Rollins did. They were getting a Stretcher out there. Stretcher, I barely know her. While Cena and Rollins just kept going at it. And then Bork rises from the dead, but gets hit with the briefcase, the Money in the Bank briefcase, twice because Rollins was the Money in the Bank winner. And thought, hey, if I lose this, then I got I got one more bullet in the chamber and everything. Much like no, can't carry on that legacy. Let's talk about the fact he hit an F5, 1, 2, 3, that Bork did, that is. He hit the F5 on Rollins for 3. All right. So yeah, Bork retains in a pretty damn good match. I'm not going to try to summarize this as far as like how, awesome it was, because it just was a really, really awesome match that you should absolutely check out. But it is the highlight as far as match quality because, oh boy, let's run down the numbers and let's talk about the massive, huge manatees that have been in the ring. And the 1996 Rumble where Yokozuna dumped Mabel out, but I have to go back to this real quick. It's a line that always makes me laugh. It was Vince on commentary. And mind you, Yokozuna tosses Mabel out. And this is Vince's line. And here we see Yokozuna being dumped unceremoniously out of the ring by Yokozuna. Vince McMahon on commentary, everybody. Now let's get back to the 2015 Rumble. 30-man Rumble. Miz at 1, Truth at 2. Bubba Ray at number 3 to a pop. EC Dub, EC Dub, EC Dub. Okay, it was nice to see him back. This is the back, of course, when Bubba wasn't totally exposing his whole ass and the fact that he really was a terrible goddamn booker. Seriously, look at the shit he did in Ring of Honor. Oh boy. Harper at number 4, Bray at number 5. Bray would end up having the most eliminations of anybody, eliminating 7 people, and about 5 or 6 of those would come within the first 10 minutes of this match. We want Devon chance. Bubba got tossed out. Curtis Axel at number 6, but he broke an axle trying to get to the ring, and Rowan attacked him and took his place. Technically, Curtis Axel was never eliminated from the 2015 Rumble, much like Kerry Von Erich was never eliminated from the 91 and 92 Rumbles because both feet must touch the floor. The only elimination that happened for him was in 1993. I'm starting to think that maybe my humor might not be translating well to YouTube. Let's move on from that. That's how I deal with bad shit. I use humor. Bad humor. Very, very bad humor. So, the Wyatt family is reunited. Briefly, because then we get a 2-on-1 on Rowan and then Bray eliminates both of them. The crowd roars. Boogeyman comes out and hits the clock into his head because Boogeyman really likes clock. I remember that was a sign at one point. And he gets tossed out after an initial face-off, which is kind of cool. Sin Cara in number 8, and he's gone. He's got the whole world in his pants. He's got the whole... I think that's how the sign goes. Remember when they could have done something with Bray and they fucked it up at Mania 30 and then kept fucking it up and then kept fucking it up and then kept fucking it up? And then Vince McMahon wondered why people didn't cheer him and why people didn't receive his WWE championship all that well, or his championship run all that well. Maybe it's because you treat him like a goddamn joke. So, let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. No, let's talk about Zack Ryder in at number 9. He was back after rotator cuff surgery. Then he was tossed out pretty goddamn quickly. And also now he's the king of the death match. I also want to go on record right now and saying Zack Ryder was used a whole lot better in WWE than what he's been allowed to do in whatever other appearances he's had, like for GCW and for the NWA and for Impact. Whatever. Hey, at least we get to see Moose abusing women, so, it's, dog barks and cat meows. Bryan in at number 10 to a pop, a very big pop, and yes, they're going to do the right thing after not including him in the Rumble, and Rey Mysterio got booed at the previous event. Check out my review of the 2014 one if you'd like. I go a lot more in-depth on that because I just go fucking totally off on this. I mean, this one will not be as long, 45 minutes later. No, it won't be that long. But yeah, Bryan out to a pop. Fandango, Tyson Kidd, and Stardust at 11, 12, and 13. Man, Tyson Kidd. It's a real... I'm glad he's able to walk and he's fine as far as his health. It's just a shame that his career in ring got cut short because him and Cesaro were a terrific goddamn team. I'm not saying Tyson Kidd ever would have been maybe more than an Intercontinental Champion, but it would have been interesting to see what he could have done. And then number 14, bang! I know it's trademark, please don't get me. It's DDP, the master of the diamond cutter. I'll just do it like that. And he lays out Fandango with the Diamond Cutter off the top. He doesn't eliminate anybody. Rusev, Udriel, Rusev, Machka. Rusev at number 15, he lasted 35 minutes, eliminated 6 people. So, Bray and Rusev got almost at the eliminations between them. Okay, that's good. Unfortunately, the Rumble got worse. Bryan goes a kicking, and then Rusev tosses him over the top rope. He stops Rusev's kick, and then Bray blindsides him and eliminates him. And that's where the crowd got really mad. Oh, and it built. I'm shocked that the fans did not actually set fire to the arena. I am shocked they did not find a way to get kerosene or whatever flammable liquids they could have gotten, beaten up the janitors, gotten flammable liquids, and set shit on fire. I'm amazed that the arena was not an inferno before the Rumble ended. And let's be perfectly honest, you couldn't have prosecuted all of them. I'm not saying the fans would have been well within their right, but whoo-hoo! Oh, chorus upon chorus of boos. This is where the fun started. The crowd booed everybody. They booed everybody. They booed everything. They booed themselves. They booed the cotton candy vendors. They booed the stains on the floor. They booed the police that were outside. They booed everybody. They booed the goddamn and they booed Santa Claus, but they booed the Eagles. They booed everything. They booed Creedence Clearwater Revival. They booed everybody. Wait, no, that's the wrong Eagles. They literally were so pissed. There were a few cheers for like a couple people, but they were so pissed. They were cheering for Daniel Bryan. They were doing all this stuff. And at this point, Vince had known he had fucked up. Now, whether Bryan should have been in the main event is subject to debate. Because Bryan had been hiding the fact that he had a lot of injuries piling up from his hard style and everything. So, okay. The problem is, they telegraphed this so goddamn much. See, if they hadn't had Daniel Bryan in the Rumble and had brought him back the next night, sure, the crowd probably would have been pissed that Roman Reigns was part of this, but guess what? They may have cheered Daniel Bryan, but if they had not seen him until the next night, oh, okay, why didn't you include him last night? But whatever, it's done. It is what it is. But they include him in the Rumble, and then Goldust and Kofi got booed. Adam Rose came out and, was out with his rosebuds and everything. By the way, future Deonna Purrazzo, future Virtuosa. That is really hard to say, was one of the entrants. You can definitely recognize it's her. And nothing wrong with that because they were playing Becky Lynch, Braun Strowman, so many other people were rosebuds. And the boos and rage kept building and building and fucking building. The Rosebud saved Kofi, but did not save Adam Rose because he will drift away. Whoa, man, that gimmick just did not last long, did it? Then Reigns in at number 19, and the instant his music hit, I'm amazed that the fans did not actually rip him apart. I'm not saying that Reigns couldn't have defended himself, but they needed more security there because that crowd was ready to rip him apart as he was doing the Shield entrance, walking through the goddamn, walking down the stairs and all that. And they were going to torch the place. They were absolutely going to torch the place at this point because they knew what was going to happen. They were, Vince McMahon was worried what would happen if Bryan and Reigns faced off. And they faced off at the first ever Fastlane, which is not like Stomping Grounds where they fisted ass and took names. I think that's how that works. They just ripped him apart. They ripped him apart. They ripped everybody apart. Mizdow was in number 21. He got tossed out, and then because Miz was trying to get in there and say, no, I may have been in there, but no, you're my stunt double. I'm going to get in there. And then Miz got knocked out, and Mizdow got in and tossed out. And Swagger came in at number 22. Ryback at number 23. They were chanting for Ryback, or doing the feed me more thing, because he knocked down Reigns. CM Punk chants. Really funny looking back at the 2014 one, how the last image we saw of CM Punk, that I totally skipped over, was him being chokeslammed by Kane through the announcer's table, the Spanish announcer's table. Thanks for years of service in WWE, CM Punk. Corbin Kane at number 24. Ambrose at number 25. What is a lunatic fringe, I wonder? What is a lunatic fringe? Titus is in number 26. He flummoxed and flopped and, fucked up getting eliminated in record time. He actually got eliminated in 4 seconds. Bad News Bear at number 27. It's Cesaro at number 28. Big Show at 29. Him and Kane team up And Rusev tumbles outside under the bottom rope. Okay, Ziggler shows up at 30 to a pop. Mind you, Ziggler 2 months prior had been part of one of the biggest moments where he was the sole survivor for Team Cena. And they didn't do anything with it. They did nothing with it. He was just back to the same goddamn spot. I'm not saying that Ziggler would have ever been a long reigning world champion and stuff like that, but they had something that organically happened and they fucked it up. Because Vince McMahon, I gotta have my guy, damn it. And they weren't cheering Reigns. And it's not that they didn't respect his talent. Excuse me. It's the same as Rock. You don't present him the right way, we're gonna reject him. And that's what they did. Also, they wanted Daniel Bryan. So the crowd boos the show and Kane dominate in 2015, the year of our Lord and Savior Seth Rollins. We're down to 4, well 5 because Rusev was still outside. Ambrose gets eliminated. Bullshit chance. It got to Show and Kane. Now, Big Show may have blown it up, but you could tell it was bothering them. Eventually, Roman eliminates them to win. Then the crowd boos. They run back in to attack Reigns, and then we want Rusev chants. They were chanting for Rusev. Now, Rusev was getting over anyway. But The Rock shows up to some cheers initially. He helps out beating up Kane, beating up Big Show. And then Rock goes outside. Okay, celebrate. Here's Rusev. Rusev tries to kick him. Nope. He gets hit with a spear and gets tossed out. And Reigns wins. And then The Rock is holding up his hand and everything. And they're booing. And The Rock was pissed. He was confused, pissed, full of rage, probably full of piss and vinegar. And at a certain age, he's just going to be filled with, not vinegar. It was alarming to see how The Rock got, and I mean, The Rock got booed plenty in his career, but was beloved for a number of years, and my God, he was pissed. And if anybody remembers, if anybody has long memories like I do, the aftermath, like the post-show tweet, or not tweet, but interview that they put up, where Rock's backstage with Reigns and everything, trying to pump him up and talking about the crowd and everything, he was rocked, pardon the pun. He was not happy. He was not happy with the crowd and everything, but the Philly crowd was livid. They were screaming at wrestlers as they were leaving. It was a nightmare. The backlash, the canceled WWE Network thing came up, and the WWE Network had just launched about a year prior, just under a year prior. And I remember that. I vividly remember that, and it was not good. It was not good at all. It was alarming. I mean, some 7 years later, or just over 7 years later, it's still regarded as one of the worst Rumbles of all time. And not Reigns' fault, but my fucking goodness, Vince McMahon knew he fucked up. And even though he had Rollins cash in on Reigns and Bork, boy, if he hadn't done that, if they had crowned Reigns at WrestleMania 31, I honest to God think that stadium might have not been left. I think people might have pulled their money together to, come in like a wrecking ball and just destroy the goddamn place. Or get Rusev's tank and see if it actually had active artillery. This whole goddamn thing was just a mess. But you know what? It was fun to reflect on. And also, I am never going to watch this fucking event again. Anyway, agree or disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.